Hello and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Sophie Larks, and if it's not your first time here, then thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Sophie Larks' Wonderful World of the Brutal Birthright series. It is like a series that I love so much. I love mafia, mafia books so much, and yeah, it's fantastic. Just lighting a little incense. We're talking about the Wonderful World of the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. This series got introduced to me randomly. I feel like I'd seen Sophie Lark around and I was like, oh, cool. But I never really knew about the series. And then one day I was in Instagram scrolling and I was on stories and a girl named Alexandra, thank you so much, Alexandra. She's like the nicest. She's such a baddie. Introduced this, she was talking about on her stories and I DM'd and was like, hey, what series are you talking about? And she gave me the whole lowdown and she loved it so much that I was like, okay, I have to get this because if anyone loves something that much, then I want to be a part of it. And thank you to Raquel. She bought me the first book. Actually, the series is special to me because all of them were gifted by people and that's just so nice. Well, I begged my sister, but nonetheless, Sophie Lark books are great for everyone. They're smart. There's they're standalones, but it's an interconnected plot. It's got so many great tropes, pretty much all the great tropes when you're done with this one, fantastic. And what I love most about Sophie Lark is the fact that she writes MCs who are badass and smart and don't take shit from anyone. And then she writes the men who are just great partners to them. These books give you the kind of love that you deserve. I'll kind of just do an overview of them and then break down some of the tropes you might expect, the flame rating, and yeah, and then we'll talk about my favorite men. I love all of them. So let's get started with book one. Book one of the Brutal Birthright series is going to be following Aydah and Callum. It is a wonderful introduction. I read this book, it was just obsessed. Wait till you get to the first kiss. It is everything. It's funny, it's enemies to lovers, it's forced marriage. So let's just read the blurb so I can let you in on this, okay? It's so good. It's so good. Okay. Sophie, all right, you're amazing. Okay. Callum Griffin is the heir to the Irish mafia. He's ruthless, arrogant, and he wants to kill me. We got off on the wrong foot when I set a very small fire in his house. Our families believe a marriage pact is the only thing that will prevent an all-out warfare. I think I might need to murder him while he sleeps. This would be a lot easier if Callum wasn't so goddamn good looking. But I've got a lockbox around my heart because even if I'm forced to marry him, I could never love a brutal prince. So I've actually never read the blurbs on these, so this should be fun. Basically what happens is there's a party at the Griffins. They are the Irish mafia, and Aydah and her family, her brothers, Dante, Nero, and Sebastian, are in the Italian mafia. And she is just a very fiery, reckless person. She decides they're gonna break into this party that they know is happening across town. Nero and Sebastian, her younger brothers, Dante, decide to go to the party, and she sneaks in and she sets a small fire. She says small, but a little bit bigger than small fire, and gets caught. A whole bunch of drama ensues that night. I don't want to spoil it for you, but a whole bunch of drama ensues that night. And said, her parents, the parents of both of them, decide that basically to smooth this over, they have to have a marriage pact. So it is arranged marriage. It's going to be enemies to lovers, and it's just so good. Callum is such an intimidating presence. He's very serious and stoic and the opposite of Aydah, and basically they both kind of met their match. They're not going to bow down to each other, but they could be a very good partnership. And it's just so cute to see it go from hating to sort of, do I like my husband? It's so, so good. And it starts off this whole world. I can't eat a strawberry without thinking about Aydah. She's my favorite MC, and I just love it so much. So yeah, that's the first book and kind of what you could expect. Also, my flame rating on this is I would say 2 flames. It's 2 spices. It's really good. And it starts everything off. Honestly, I didn't read Smut before this, so I was so shook. So I'm not sure that my ratings would be the same, but fantastic. I love her descriptions of it. I love it. And that's the end of the first book, The Brutal Prince. Due to events that happen in this, we end up involving Mikolov in the stolen heir, and he is, I love all the gallows and the griffins, but he had them running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Like, he's so smart. He plays 7 steps ahead. He's meticulous and kind of like heartless. But let's just read the blurb and then I'll give you the lowdown on what happens, okay? I'm sorry, it's so good. They murdered my father, so I stole their daughter. She's my captive, my little ballerina who dances only for me. Nessa is sweet and innocent. She doesn't deserve any of this, but that's how our world works. The wolves eat the lambs, no matter how gentle they may be. I'll use her to get my revenge unless I give in to my hunger first. So obviously this is a kidnapping book. If that's not your thing, honestly, it's not normally mine, but Sophie writes this in a way that, like, dare I say, is respectful. Like, I know it sounds weird, but if y'all saw me getting kidnapped by Mikolov, mind your business. I'm fine. I'm in a better place and I'm okay. I love Miko so much. The beginning of the story is very dark. You're gonna get the like where Miko came from, how he got into the mafia, look up trigger warnings, and it's just so good. Nessa, as said, is very innocent. She doesn't know about the mafia world at all. Like, her family's like rich, but she doesn't know why they're rich. So she's been shielded. She's a dancer. She's very artistic. And I think her family really underestimates her. Honestly, everyone underestimates her at first. And anyway, so her ignorance to this world is how she gets right in the claws of Mikolov. He is all about revenge. Like, that's how his story starts. It's a revenge story, and he takes something of theirs. It's so good. The vibes of this are kind of like Hades and Persephone, definitely Beauty and the Beast retelling type of vibes. And he craves power above all else, and their love is so strong. They're like soulmates. They are each other's yin and yang. She gives him a soul, basically. Like, it is so good. I love their love. They're one of my favorite couples. Amazing. And so that's book 2. Really good. All of these are happy endings, no cliffhangers or anything like that. So it's about Nero and Camille, and it's so good. Okay, like, I'll give you the blurb and then I'll read it. But basically, Camille ends up going to a party with, like, looking for her little brother. She's a very hardworking. She works on cars. She was not cool in school. She worked, and she cares for her father. And family's important. Cars are important. It's really her brother's situation, but she takes care of it. So she ends up having to work with the police on something, and yeah. And then Nero is there, and then it's sort of like work together, attraction, bad boy, good girl, Fast and Furious vibes. It's very good, but let me read the blurb. There's a reason I never go to parties. I saw him in a cloud of smoke, like sin made flesh, even bruised and battered. I'd never seen anything more beautiful. Unless I hate myself, I should stay far away from Nero. He's a heartbreaker, a mess maker, and a walking disaster. Here's the problem. I'm in deep trouble with a dirty cop. The only person who can save me is Nero. We're not friends. If he saw me drowning, he'd throw me an anchor. But he's the only chance I've got. He's no hero. He's a savage lover. Amazing. See, look. Okay. So back into their vibes. So Nero is, like she said, he's very volatile. He's all things like, it's said in the book like he's literally a master of sex. Everyone's attracted to him like a moth to the flame, and he's the flame, but he just wants to keep burning higher. Like, he doesn't care about his well-being. He doesn't really care about anyone's opinions. And there's a reason for that. Like, he has like this whole backstory. But the thing is, like, he feels so much that it's better to adrenaline to feel something else. So I love Nero. I love Camille. Nero is very smart as well. I would say, to me, it's Mikolov and Nero who are the smartest of everyone in the series. There's just their brains. I don't know who would win if they were ever in opposition, but it's a good thing we don't have to find out. But those two are intelligent. Nero is underestimated, but he does have he's very calculating, and he's also, and I stand by this, the best in bed, and I'm pretty sure the biggest. Okay, she went to inches. I don't know why I did that. I'm not even sure if that's right. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, I love Nero so much. He's a special place in my heart. Honestly, all of the gallo men are like you know, top tier. All of the men are top tier, but I feel like Gallo's, they're amazing. So yeah, Nero and Camille end up working together on something. There is like a heist involved. As I said, sort of Fast and Furious vibes. They both love cars. It's Bad Boy Good Girl. It's the spiciest of the three. I don't think I mentioned Stolen Air, but that one would be like a 1.5 because, as I said, she's very innocent. She's literally a virgin, and so you're not gonna get much. And Mikolov is very like gentle. I love Mikolov. So in Savage Lover, it's a lot more like Nero is a giver. He's perfect. The rest of these books have had mafia and mafia. Camille is just a regular person who has gone to the same schools and knows of Nero. So that's really cool. And I love it so much. And I love her and her brother. And yeah, it's just such a cool plot. And like I said, like each book has a little bit of something, like they are definitely standalones, but like little things that domino. And it's just so beautiful to see. I love that about Sophie's writing as well. Like everything has a little, like, you know, golden nugget of something that will like affect the next book. And then it's just, I love domino effects. Anyway, so that is sort of Savage Lover. She's trying to resist him. Everyone knows he doesn't care about anyone. He's not gonna like just help. He's not a nice guy, but she can't really deny like he might be the only one who can help her, and also like this attraction between them. And eldest Gallo, and my personal, I would say, it's hard to say favorite, but in the beginning I said favorite. My first favorite, who felt like he was for me, but that's just because I didn't want to be kidnapped. If I had to be Netza, that's how I would get Miko. And I didn't want Nero because I was like, he would be too intimidating for me. So I couldn't have been Camille. But anyway, this next book, the fourth in the series, is Dante Gallo. Dante Gallo is the eldest. He's meant to be the heir, and he is very level-headed. This book is a second chance romance. You're gonna get to see baby Aydah, who was still crazy. I love her. And this book, oh, I forgot to say, I'm so sorry. Camille is POC, which I love. She's Hispanic, and I just live it for it. I love that Sophie Larks writes POCs. And Simone is Black. I was so excited to read about that, especially Mafia. Mafia is like one of my favorite genres of a book, and it's very rare to get a Black girl in that. So thank you, Sophie. So yes, as I was saying, Bloody Heart, the fourth book in the Brutal Birthright series, is about Dante and Simone. This is a second chance romance. It's sort of like the wrong side of the tracks type of romance. Like they both come from money, but her family is like very socialites, and you know, they go to galas and fundraisers and all that. And then Dante, you know, the galas are in the mafia. So it's very like right person, sort of wrong time. I only meant to steal a car. I didn't know I was stealing a girl too until the most gorgeous face I'd ever seen popped up in the rearview mirror. I fell hard, fast, and forever. But she tore up my heart and left me alone and bleeding. How can I forget her when I have to see that damn perfect face on billboards and magazines? It's torture. 9 long years. I thought I moved on. Then I saw her in the flesh, and my heart started bleeding all over again. Basically what happened was Simone was going to like another fundraiser thing that she didn't want to go to. She like, but her father's like making her, their father is like, I don't like Simone's family. Her father's very annoying and very bossy. And she stays in the car for a little while longer because she just like wants a moment before she has to go and put on this face and like pretend to want to be there. And Gallo jumps into the car and is stealing it, having left a situation that he was in. And it goes from there. It's very insta love. Like they both are sort of just like, I think I love you. Like it's so great. Now Simone's not really like my favorite, but only because I was like, Dante loved you so much and you left him. But you know what? He chose her. He's level-headed. He's the eldest Gallo. They fell in love. And Simone literally like wants freedom, but family is everything to her. She has a sister who is like chronically ill, and she's very like obedient. So she ends up being a model and everything. And like, she's so nervous to go back to Chicago, but she's like, it's just such a big city. They both end up running into each other. And there's a case that's happening in this whole book. And so they end up kind of working together and being close to each other. So it's like forced proximity a little bit, and it's just so good. And they both really still love each other and can't deny like this attraction is still between them. But there's also a huge secret. It's the biggest as well. and I love it. Like, I love Bloody Heart. This was when I was like, whoa, like I just started freaking out. Also, this was like the one where she starts like kicking ass. Like, Sophie Larks starts, the rest of these books, you're like, what the hell? So the domino effect continues. This book, The Broken Vow, which is the 5th book in the Brutal Birthright series, is about Riona and Raylan. Dante had to call Raylan in from his old military pal to help him. And Raylan then meets Riona, who is Dante's best friend. I love that. Riona is so smart, and it's sort of reverse Grumpy Sunshine, which is like my favorite thing ever. I could live on reverse Grumpy Sunshine / enemies to lovers. But he instantly takes a liking to her. He's very charismatic and charming and like quite confident. And so he starts making her a drink and thinking that he has her at the very end of Bloody Heart. And she just like plays along and then completely dogs him. But he loves a challenge. So yeah, it goes from there. At the beginning of The Broken Vow, we follow Riona Griffin, who is sister to Nessa Griffin and Callum Griffin. And she's the lawyer of the family, which is how Dante and her became friends through situations that happened in book 2, The Stolen Heir. That's how they end up being buddies. Their friendship is like one of my favorite things ever. Me and Charlene talk about all the time, like, I just love them. They're like my favorite thing. So this book starts with Riona. She's working at a law firm. Anyway, she's the hardest worker at this firm. She's going home at night, and then she's going for a swim, as she always does, and someone tries to drown her. She gets away, calls Dante, obviously, because they're best friends, and Dante calls Raylan, who was out on a mission, but he immediately comes back and protects her. And I love them, and I'll read the blurb for this as well. I'll protect her whether she likes it or not. That's exactly what happens. Okay. Riona Griffin is gorgeous, intelligent, and iron-willed. My perfect woman, except she hates my guts. She thinks she doesn't need anybody, but she needs me. She's being hunted by an assassin who never misses his mark. I'm going to stay by her side day and night, keeping her safe. Riona thinks that that's a fate worse than death, but I know she'll learn to love me. If this hitman wants to kill her, he'll have to go through me first. And that's exactly what happens. Like, she really doesn't, she's a very independent, strong woman, and she's like, I don't need help and I don't need a man. And he's like, I'm gonna stay with you. So it's forced proximity, enemies to lovers, reverse Grumpy Sunshine. I love everything about this book. I often like kind of go past and go straight to the gallows or like Miko for how much I love them, but Raylan is special. In high stakes, yeah. Cowboy City Girl. I forgot to mention that. Cowboy City Girl, and it's just so good. And I like how they come together, and Riona is a lot more wild than we first thought, okay? Okay, so Heavy Crown follows Sebastian Gallo. This is the youngest Gallo, and due to situations that happened in book 1, the future that he saw for himself is no longer available, and he's sort of like dealing with all of this rage and sort of displacement on what he's supposed to do with his life. Throughout the rest of the series, you're going to see him like slowly start getting into stuff like with Nero and even Dante later on. And so you kind of see him stepping into the mafia world when he had zero interest in it before. One night when he's like walking out, he sees a girl being stuffed into a trunk. So obviously he goes and helps stop it. And that girl is none other than Yelena. And that's how the story starts. This girl is Yelena. She's in the Russian mafia, and it's sort of like, this is the most intense book of all of them. It is insane, and I don't fully like Yelena, but let's just get into the story. So, a temptation I couldn't resist. I saw her being stuffed in a trunk. Yelena Yenin, only daughter of the most vicious Bratva, I'm sorry I never say it right, Bratva boss in Chicago. The Bratva hate my family. They burned my uncle alive. I should have left Yelena to her fate, but she fought like a Valkyrie, gorgeous, ferocious, and unbreakable. I saved her so I could make her mine. She says she'll never submit to a man. I guess we'll see. I'll push her to the limit and far beyond them. This book is the most intense of all of them. It deals with a lot of like yearning, forbidden romance, sort of like deceit, and it's heartbreaking because it's like the last book and so much happens in it. Dante, due to situations in other books, is maybe not even like, Dante's no longer meant to be the heir of the family, and his father's sort of thinking like, maybe Sebastian. Yelena has a twin brother named Adrian. They're everything to each other. They're so close. Their father's a very cruel, controlling man, and he basically sets this whole thing up to set it all in motion. But it's very good. You should read that. Some of my favorite characters, like you get to have Mikolov come back and they joined in a fight together. It's just so good, and it's like a great closing to this wonderful world that she's built, and all the couples are settled. And okay, sorry, my phone stopped me. So the last thing I have to say is at the very end of The Heavy Crown, everyone has kids, everyone is happy, but this is the birth of the next series, the Kingmaker series. There's a letter inviting their kids who are heirs, and good. Yelena and her brother Adrian, who used to be inseparable, are now like, it's strange, they don't talk, and she's worried because his son Dean is going to the same school and Leo was going there. And that is how we start the first book in the Kingmaker series, The Heir. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got some good book recs. I certainly enjoyed talking about them, and I hope to see you in the next video. Wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, and life, and I'll see you later. Bye. Editing, Lachey here. I repeatedly say stars, and I mean when I say like two flames, I kept saying stars. I did not mean to. None of these are 2 or 3 stars. I love them all so much. I really can't rate them. I just love them. Like, I have favorite couples, and I can like go on my favorite parts of stories, but they're all amazing to me. So every time I say stars, it's for spice. And also, this is like my 4th time recording it all the way through, and yeah, I just love it that much that I didn't even care about recording it that many times. I love Sophie Larks. She's literally like the nicest, and her books give you like all the vibes. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and for real this time, over and out.